Here comes the, here comes the, here comes the. Y'all don't really want it like. Here comes the, here comes the, here comes the. Y'all don't really want it like. Here comes the, here comes the, here comes the. Y'all don't really want it like. Here comes the, here comes the, here comes the. Y'all don't really want it like. Here comes the, here comes the, here comes the. Y'all don't really want it like. Here comes the, here comes the, here comes the. Y'all don't really want it like. Here comes the, here comes the, here comes the. Y'all don't really want it like. Here comes the, here comes the, here comes the, here comes the. You ain't built for a skirt as a nigga can be. It's what sound like when I'm coming, like when I'm coming, like when I'm coming for ya. It's what sound like when I'm coming, like when I'm coming, like when I come for ya. It's what sound like. Here comes the, here comes the, here comes the, here comes the. Y'all don't really want it like that.
What is going on, everybody? Happy Sunday. Happy September the 1st. Guys, it's the first day of September, and you guys know what that means. Today is the last Sunday before the start of the NFL season. Drop some motherfucking dubs in the chat. Let's go. Excited to have you guys with us. Welcome to the Gridiron Gang right here on the Betting News Network. Yeah, exactly, Prendy. You know the deal. That is Gretzky Betskis. That is Vsauce. That is Just Sook. My name is Sweatpants Jesus. So stoked to have you guys with us for the last Sunday, boys, before we dive into the full thing, baby. We got a week away from right now. We will all be sitting together in the same room, getting ready to watch week 1 of the NFL season. Vibes are high. We are ready to rock and roll. Gents, how are we doing today? Ready to party? Ready to talk all about week 1?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Dude, I am so excited to get into these games, to get into these props. I know we've been talking all about the season like it's weeks and weeks away, but to get into the nitty gritty and to get into week 1 bets, I'm very pumped.
Yep.
Yeah.
Are you guys one
absolutely.
of those guys that think the week starts on Sunday? Because if the week starts on Sunday, then we got football this week already, unless you're waiting for Monday.
No,
Well,
no.
I'm
Because it would still be next Sunday.
True.
Oh, well, but we got Thursday. So
That's true.
regardless.
Friday
I'm a
night football.
I'm a Monday guy. That's
I'm a
that's the start of the week. But tomorrow is a holiday here in the United States, it being Labor Day. So also happy early Labor Day to all you guys out there as well. Let's go, Rowdy. You came to the right place. Yep, respectfully, Crazy Pellet, indeed. Yeah, excited to have you guys with us. This is brought to you by our sponsors at Bet Online. We're going to talk through every single game with you guys today for week one. We're going to go game by game, kind of give our thoughts. We might skip over a few just in case we don't have anything crazy to talk about, but we all have kind of thoughts and some bets out there already for week one. I'm sure you guys have some in the questions. So drop your questions as we get game by game. Lock in the stuff with Bet Online. You get a $1,000 deposit bonus by using the QR code in the top corner of the screen, and you get a $10 bonus bet dropped into your account. So get involved with our sponsors at Bet Online. Oh boys, we're back. Literally 4 days away from the start of the season. And as you said, V, we got Friday Night Football too in Brazil, which we're going to talk about, which I know you have. You have probably a lot to say about. So, and last thing before we dive in, we have like 4 days until we all make our way to Chicago. Next weekend, the Betting News squad will be in Chicago. So excited to drop some more content for you guys, getting ready for the weekend next week of all of us being live in Chi-Town, baby. Let's go. All right, boys. Anything else you want to chat about, or do you guys just want to dive straight in?
I gotta give a shout out to Prendy for saving my ass yesterday. So I was hungover as hell and sweating my ass off painting the interior of this house we're working on, and sent out an SOS, and Prendy delivered and sent me some pizza from Red Devil Pizza. It was awesome.
What an absolute vibe that
Legend.
was. W community, absolute W community. Yeah. I almost, when he sent you that, I almost sent you a case of beer just to kind of rub salt in the wounds, like a little hair of the dog situation. But we'll see.
That fridge is stocked over there, actually, so we were good there.
Oh, okay. It was fine. Fair enough.
The only thing he was missing was pizza.
Yeah.
Not the
absolutely. V, you sound crispy, but I think we're getting AirPod V instead of microphone V. But you sound crispy still, so it's not a big deal. All right, boys, let's dive in. Let's go ahead and jump straight into it. As I said, chat, we're going to go game by game for week one, kind of give our thoughts. All the odds that you guys are going to see are going to be on the screen. If you have questions, if you have a play that you like in that game, drop it in the chat. We'll either bring it up or maybe we'll be talking about it already. So let's go ahead and dive in, gentlemen. As you guys said, first game of the season, Thursday Night Football, AFC Championship rematch between two teams that might find themselves right back in the AFC Championship game this season. The Baltimore Ravens looking to take on Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. Shags isn't here today, as you guys can tell, so we can look at this a tiny bit objectively. The Ravens, as you guys can see by our friends at Bet Online, are 3-point underdogs right now. The Chiefs are 3-point favorites. The over-under is set at 46.5. Before we look at some individual stuff, guys, from an out view here, what do you guys like in this game? Do we like a spread, total? What are you guys thinking?
Man, there's a touchdown score that I love in this game, and no, it's not Derrick Henry. It's our boy, Mark Andrews, at plus 170 for him to score in week one. I love the value. I know that Lamar is always a threat to get in the end zone. I know that Derrick Henry now being in this backfield makes him to always get into the end zone, a threat to always get in the end zone. I am loving the value here on Mark Andrews. I think it's going to be a huge game between the Chiefs, the Ravens, week one. We saw what that game with the Lions looked like last year when the Lions came out and upset the Chiefs, right? It was a statement game by the Lions, and that's the exact kind of statement I think the Ravens are coming out to put on this game. They just lost in the AFC Championship game. They're one of the teams that are perennially competing with the Chiefs for that exact same prize in the AFC. I think they're going to be really good this year. The defense looks really good. The offense looks more like positioned for success than it ever has been, right? They've had guys like Gus Edwards in a rotating backfield. Now they've got a solid guy, a bell cow back in Derrick Henry. You've got a guy on the outside in his third year, Zay Flowers, who has shown flashes of greatness and great speed. And then you have a Mark Andrews, who, if he's healthy, is a top 3 tight end in this league. And yes, that includes George Kittle, Travis Kelce, and Sam Laporta, and all these new names. He is a top 3 tight end when he's healthy. His biggest question mark over the last 2 years is his health. right? He's played 4 times against the Chiefs in his career. He's seen 5, 7, and 8 targets in his last 3. I just think that this Chiefs defense is where the holes are going to be for them this season. We saw it last year. And I think we see maybe a little bit of it again. I just think that their offense is very high powered, but their vulnerability comes on defense. I love Mark Andrews to get into the end zone. I love the plus 170 line. I don't think his touchdown line is going to sit here. Obviously, we know how these touchdown lines fluctuate as the year goes on, but plus 170 right now is what you're getting it at. And I'm locked in, boys, on Mark Andrews.
Yeah, I like what you had to say. I have a play in this game too. I don't like a side necessarily. Their 3 points kind of sketches me out on either direction here. I think maybe I lean with the Ravens plus the 3 if I had to bet it, but I don't. I think this game is kind of stinky a little bit. It's first game of the season too. But you kind of touched on this, and I think I haven't bet this yet. I haven't gotten to the window on it, but I'm going to before the end of before Thursday. Give me Derrick Henry over 63.5 rushing yards. It's a low number. Yes, but it might be a little sketchy. But again, guys, and we've talked about this. Everybody in chat knows this. I mean, I've watched this man's snaps from the time he got drafted up until the end of last season. If they give him 15 carries, this could be free cheese, man. And I really don't think that they're going to shy away from giving him the football. This could be the lowest we ever see his rushing yards line of the entire season. If he has 100 yards, we're never going to see it at 63.5 again. So I think we're getting a discount. Also, last season, the Chiefs, I know it's a new defense this year, but most of the pieces are returning from last season. They actually weren't very good at stopping the run. Kind of middle of the pack, middle to end of the pack in rush defense last season. So I think Derrick Henry has a chance to have success, and they brought him there to carry the rock. So I think 63.5 rushing yards could be absolutely free. And I think that they're going to lean on him to kind of start the season. So give me Derrick Henry over 63.5. Probably just convinced myself that I'm for sure going to bet it, but I really like this line.
Love that.
So, Betsky, did you guys have anything from this game that you guys wanted to talk about?
This is a sit back and relax and watch it for me. Hell of a matchup. It's going to be interesting to see if KC comes out slow again like they did last season. But this is going to be fantastic for a Thursday night, first game of the season game. Perfect matchup.
Absolutely.
Come on, Betsky, first game of the season, and you're not placing even one wager?
I'm sure I'll do something. I really like that Mark Andrews touchdown. Maybe I'll just combine the two here, the rushing yards with the touchdown, and see if we got a little jump start to our bankroll. I kind of lean the Baltimore money line. I like the value of that.
Interesting.
Yeah,
that plus 3 does look nice because you're getting the push potential by the field goal. And I mean, I think the Ravens, they loaded up at all the right positions. You bring in Derrick Henry. You also increase the stability on the defensive side. I think that this game is going to tell us a lot about both of these teams going into the start of the season. So, any comments you want to say before we move to the next game?
Yeah, I had a player prop on the Ravens side. I got Zay Flowers for over 54.5 rushing and receiving yards. They will give this guy a few carries every now and then. We saw last year he had that one crazy run for 37 yards. Zay Flowers is young. He's good. I know Derrick Henry is there, but this line is just very low to me. I like it. Obviously, Derrick Henry is the new big guy there, but Zay Flowers is the young gun that's still very, very good. And if he progresses at all this season, just like SPJ said with Derrick Henry's line, we're not going to get 54.5 again on Zay Flowers.
Yeah, this line's very low. When he could hit this in like 2 catches, depending on how this game goes. Which again, the Chiefs also lost L'Jarius Sneed. They lost their best shutdown corner, and they didn't really replace him. So it'll be interesting to see what that pass defense looks like. All right, boys.
Zay Flowers had 115 yards against them in the playoffs.
Nice.
Yep. And the Ravens are going to come in wanting to make a statement after that AFC Championship game went down. So as you said, Betsky, though, what a way to start the season. And the great thing for us is we're going to literally watch this game, and then the next morning we're all going to get on flights and come and hang out in Chicago. And the next game is on Friday, which we're all going to watch together. Chat, make sure you guys remember that, yes, there's Thursday Night Football to start the season, but the next day there is a game directly after that in Brazil. The Packers taking on the Eagles. So neither a home game for technically either team. However, the Eagles are considered the home team in this situation. But this game is in Brazil. Should be electric stuff. The Packers 2.5-point underdogs. The Eagles 2.5-point favorites. Via Labio softball to start us off. What's the moves?
Well, thank you, SPJ, for that one because I'm about that out of the park. All right,
Okay,
my
one.
dog of the week. It's Packers money line plus 125 via Bet Online, plus 128, plus 130 in other spots, whether you want those lines. But as we say all the time, Bet Online is one of the sharper books. And we look at this line sitting here plus 125, the plus 2.5. I think it's very indicative of where people are looking at the Packers this season. Jordan Love was the best QB in the NFL in the second half of last season. He went from averaging up just about 150 some yards per game to 276 in the month of November. And then he finished off the season averaging 248 per game in December. He had 316 yards in his one game in January, and he was putting up TD after TD, not turning over the ball, and he was just playing fantastic. The one thing about his game that I've talked about so much is his deep ball accuracy. It's the kind of deep ball accuracy we've seen from guys like Aaron Rodgers and guys like Tom Brady, and I am so excited as a Packers fan to be watching this. Jordan Love is fantastic. All his receivers are now entering their second and third years. Guys like Romeo Doubs, Christian Watson, even their tight end,
Musgrave.
Musgrave. He has been fantastic. I love this line. I think the Eagles have so much discourse going on in that locker room right now that I do not feel comfortable trusting this team whatsoever. I'm not drafting a lot of their players in fantasy outside of maybe AJ Brown or Devontae Smith, depending on where I get him. But this team looks like they're in disarray. Last year, the way they ended the season was horrendous. We're getting reports in training camp about Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni and their relationship being fractured, and hopefully the offensive coordinator being able to bridge that gap. When has that ever worked, guys? If your head coach and your starting quarterback are not on the same page, when has that ever made for good team chemistry or good on-field play? It's one of the biggest question marks for the Jets season with the way Robert Saleh and Aaron Rodgers' relationship has looked. Right? We have not seen Sirianni say anything. Jalen Hurts has not mentioned anything. And I don't even think they've made an effort to kind of silence these rumors. Instead, all we're getting is about stuff about the new offensive coordinator. I love, he just came over from Dallas. What's his name?
The offensive coordinator?
Yeah, right? He came from Dallas?
Let me double check.
I can't remember what his name is, but he is a great offensive mind, and he really should have guys like AJ Brown, Devontae Smith looking fantastic. But Nick Sirianni behind like all these major decisions as a head coach, I don't like this Eagles team this year. I don't think they're going to do as well as a lot of people have them doing. I'm taking the Packers in week one. Sorry. Kellen Moore? Is that who it is?
It is Kellen Moore. Yeah, I was looking. I was like, I'm pretty sure it's Kellen Moore. I just wanted to double check. It is Kellen Moore.
Yeah, I just remembered his name literally as you looked it up. But Kellen Moore's a great offensive coordinator, but I just don't think that he's going to be able to do enough to bridge this gap. The Packers' defense is also still really good. They've got Jair Alexander still on the outside, one of the best cornerbacks in football. And I just think that they could really upset the Eagles here at plus 2.5 in Brazil, too. This isn't even a home game. Everybody's having to travel. There's a lot of stuff going on. But give me the Packers Friday night. I can't say I'm 100% unbiased, but I'm betting it anyways.
100%, man. Guys, I kind of like this. Is definitely one that I'm not betting. I don't like either one of these lines. I feel like if you like a team, as you mentioned, if you like the Packers, take the money line. The 2.5 looks interesting for plus money. I will say that. And this Eagles team is full of question marks. However, you're bringing in, if the Saquon experience works in Philadelphia, this team could be really dangerous because they've been DeAndre Swift was really good last year, and I would say Saquon is not miles better than DeAndre Swift, but he's a way better talented running back than DeAndre Swift. So this team could be scary, but we're gonna have to kind of see it first. Guys, you got any thoughts on this game? You got any plays you like in this one?
I'm tailing V and taking that money line for sure.
Keep the points. Give me the money line.
Yeah. I like Barkley rushing yards too. It's pretty low. If we're going to do the trend of you're not going to see it this low again, 64.5.
Mm-hmm.
Packers were 28th against the run last year. But
Betsky, I love that a lot because it's exactly the same logic. Because if he has 90 rushing yards, we're never going to see that line again this entire season. As I think he could. I mean, if they're planning to use him the way that they should. Also, the other thing about this too is they're in a completely different environment.
Yes.
Which I feel like most of the time, especially first game of the season and things like that, is like they're probably going to lean on a lot of easy plays to kind of get the vibes moving and get kind of rolling, and especially in a different stadium. And that's going to mean a lot of running plays, some trick plays, things like that. So
Yeah.
I like that a lot, Betsky. I might bet that actually. Anything else on this one, guys?
Crutch, are you an Eagles fan and a Celtics fan? You might be the only person in the world that I've ever met that is cheering for both a Boston team and a Philly team.
Well, no,
You
he's
were
a
a fucking Eagles fan when we were
I'm
kids.
Canadian. I'm Canadian. Like, I don't know what I'm doing.
You get free
know what I mean?
reign.
Like,
He's a
Canadian. We grew up and we discovered NFL like at 16. What do you mean? We were watching CFL thinking that was the product.
Yeah,
He's a
okay,
Patriots
fine.
fan.
I was a Bengals fan. I had a Carson Palmer jersey.
Oh, dude, Carson Palmer for the Bengals with Ocho Cinco and TJ Houshmandzadeh. That was some fun right there.
That was.
All right. Well, there you go. As I said, guys, don't forget this game is Friday night in Brazil. Should be a fun one. I can't wait to watch it, boys. It's going to be awesome. All right. Now let's swing to Sunday. First two games out of the way. Let's go ahead and dive into what we have on the Sunday slate with one of the earlier games. This one is a little bit more interesting. You got a battle of two NFC South teams. The Panthers taking on the Saints. The Panthers are +4 right now, 4-point underdogs in the Big Easy. The over/under set at 40. Stuck, I'll lob this one up to you first, since this is your division for the most part. You got any thoughts on this game? Do you like this game? Anything you want to tackle here?
Yeah, I already tapped the button. I took the Saints -4, -115. I like it. I think that this team won 9 games last year. This is an absolutely horrible division. If you're the Bucks and the Saints, you know you need every single win, because are you really beating teams like the Ravens and Chiefs every week? No, you're not. So when you play division rivals that are buns, you got to get that W. So at -4, I like it. SPJ, you're the one who thinks Derek Carr is going to have a very good season. I believe in Chris Olave a lot. So I think this the Panther secondary is absolutely Swiss cheesy, like you say. So give me the Saints. I think the Panthers are going to be one of the worst teams in the league. They were picking up players off the Bucks. The Bucks were cutting players, and the Panthers signed a couple of them. And now they got, I think, a cornerback that we cut is now their second or third cornerback. This team is not good. This team is not fucking good. Give me the New Orleans Saints -4.
I'm going to be interested to see how the former offensive coordinator in Tampa Bay does with the reins in Carolina, because Bryce Young hasn't really had a fair shake so far in the NFL with the terrible offensive line play and just terrible direction in total in Carolina. So, but I agree with you. I'm not going to bet this game. I don't like this game, but if I had to go one way or the other, I think I would take the Saints.
I think if we do see strides from Bryce Young, it's not going to be in week 1. I think they're still going to struggle there. Yeah.
Yeah. Something sneaky to kind of go with that narrative is Derek Carr over 1.5 touchdowns for +104.
Ooh.
I like that.
Yeah.
He hit
I already
the
bet his
last 5 games of the season. He had a 4 TD game to end the year and 2 3-touchdown games. He's put up 2 against Carolina last year and then 0 in the beginning. But it took a little bit of time for him to adjust, and Olave didn't seem right. But
I wasn't here the day you guys talked about the NFC South, but I said this in the chat. I love Derek Carr's passing yards over on the season. It's gross. I know a lot of you guys have really weird takes about Derek Carr, and it makes sense. I mean, he hasn't really done anything. But if you look at just his numbers statistically, he's gone over his passing yards line in like 10 straight seasons. And he hasn't gone under that number. I think it's 33.05, I'm pretty sure, since he was a rookie.
Derek Carr is the definition of good but not great.
He's a Honda Accord. Like, he is the Honda Accord of quarterbacks.
He's a Honda Accord. He's a 6-year-old Honda Accord. Not a brand new Honda Accord, like a 6-year-old Honda Accord. You know what I mean?
Still works.
Still works. Still does the job.
Stay away game. This one right here. This is the one.
Yeah.
Unless Silk tells me to bet Chuba, I think I'm just gonna stay off of this one.
Oh
yeah. Fair enough. Guys, anything else, or should we keep going?
Yeah, let's keep going.
Let's keep it moving. All right, let's go to the next game. Now maybe another one that might be kind of a skip fest. Patriots taking on the Bengals. I'm getting kind of the nasty ones out of the way first. Pats are 9-point underdogs on the road in Cincinnati. A lot of points, 9 points. Over under set at 40.5. Jacoby Brissett has been announced to be the opening day starting quarterback for the Patriots. Joe Burrow returning after missing most of the season, or like half of the season last year, to kind of get some revenge. A lot of people high on the Bengals. Patriots could possibly be the worst team in football. Guys, got any thoughts on this one?
Brendan, are you really a Pats fan? Is that real facts? Like, cause man, but I'm taking the Bengals with the points here. I've said it, and I've said it so many times. I am so high on Joe Burrow this year. I am all the way here for this Joe Burrow revenge narrative, for this maybe possible Joe Burrow MVP-like season. I think he's the second or third best quarterback, honestly, second best quarterback in the NFL right now, and I think he's got the weapons to do it. I think Jamar Chase is going to be on the field for week 1. -9 for a Patriots team that is putting out Jacoby Brissett despite Drake May clearly winning the starting job. Now, this is a decision I agree with. I don't think putting Drake May in here with 3 of the first 4 games that they played being on the road, 3 of the first 4 games being very tough defenses in the Niners, a Bengals offense that is really good, and I can't remember who their 2 other opponents are, but they are playing a very tough schedule to start off the NFL season. Throwing Drake May to the Wolves with 0 weapons on offense, 0 help on the offensive line. They might have the worst offensive line in all of football. Let's not forget that either. I don't think that whoever's in the backfield is going to stay on his feet long. So give me the Bengals -9. Big revenge spot for Joey B. He's been out for way too long. And look at that. Are we not taking Slim Shady -9? Of course we are.
Rusty did say in the chat that it is Joe Shiesty, not Joe Burrow.
Absolutely.
Just to mention the Patriots, I did a video on our TikTok breaking down the Patriots schedule and kind of giving them a win-loss prediction. I ended up actually getting them with 5 miraculously, which is their win total is 4.5. But their first 7 games is an absolute gauntlet, like you said. I can't remember it off the top of my head, but I think they play the Dolphins, they play the Bengals, they play the Niners, they play the Jets. I mean, they play such tough opponents for the first month and a half of the season. They could be 0-6 by week 7 very easily. But I don't like this game either. Fuck this line. I could so much see the Patriots coming out and doing some weird shit and covering the 9 at the end of this game somehow. So I don't want anything to do with this one. May not even watch this game, to be very honest. Guys, you got any thoughts?
I don't know. The Pats defense could be
You
good
guys
again.
both made the same face.
Joe Burrow is going to have a good game. The Bengals, they're looking to return back into that narrative. They're a contender. The Pats are just bad. They have a lot of drama with their head coach, not really saying who's going to start, and he's kind of being coy with the media. I don't know. I don't like him. Jared Mayo, I think is his name, the head coach there.
Gerard.
Like a weird dude. Gerard Mayo, yeah. Don't like him. Go Bengals. Who day?
Betsky?
Higgins' receiving yards looks pretty good.
What's the line on that?
57.5.
Interesting.
Yeah, and because aren't they saying Chase is a little banged up?
Well, he hasn't really been practicing because he's still working on getting his contract solidified. So there's been that.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that he's going to play week 1 from kind of what's been being talked about. But we've already discussed T. Higgins quite a bit going into the season, how we all kind of like him because he's in that contract year. Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, maybe it starts week 1.
Yep.
The only reason why, if I was to bet this, honestly, I might take the Patriots +9. But I feel like that could just be the stupidest wager of all time, so I'm not going to bet it because the Patriots defense is actually pretty good. And like if they're, they're in Cincinnati, so I don't know. I like that Higgins look, and maybe that's kind of it. Okay, chaps, we keep going.
Yeah, let's keep going.
Let's keep it moving. Another one that could be a little bit fishy. The Vikings looking to take on the Giants. Giants looking to turn the page this season. Obviously, the Vikings have solidified Sam Darnold as their starting quarterback, mostly because J.J. McCarthy had knee surgery and he's out for the season. Pretty much a pick 'em in New York for this game. The Giants are +100 as home favorite or as home underdogs. Technically, the over/under set at 41. Betsky, I'll lob you this one first, brother. You got anything in this game that you're kind of looking at?
I do like the Giants money line here.
Let's go. Me too.
Me too. That's
Me
probably not a
too.
good sign. That's
The
probably not a
Vikings
good sign.
organization is out of control.
It's-
This is our panel moment. This is our
Yeah.
panel moment.
I know DJ hasn't looked good in preseason either, but it's preseason. It's not the end of the world. I think the addition of Neighbors could be really interesting. I think this is a game where the Giants could just decide to take control. I would maybe look at the under here. They added Brent Burns. They have a clear vision of how they want this defense to look, and it's taking the page from the old Titans playbook. So, right, it's the defensive coordinator from the Titans, or was it Carolina?
Who for the Giants?
Yeah.
I don't think it's from the Titans.
Okay, I think it was from Carolina. So
I don't know. I don't know who the defensive coordinator is, but off the top of my head.
Regardless, I think this is a game where you don't want to let the Vikings take control by outpacing you and outscoring you. So I think we got a slower pace of a game. I think,
Oh,
DJ
it is from the
breaking-
Titans.
Yeah, DJ
Mhm.
just like breaking off one big throw to Neighbors could be just kind of what takes the air out of the game, if you will.
Man, I gotta agree with you, Betsky. I really, really do lean with the Giants here, man. And I think the line says it all. The fact that we're getting the Giants team +1, right, against a Vikings team who was fantastic last year, has weapons like Jay Jefferson, Aaron Jones in the backfield. Yes, I know that Sam Darnold has not looked like an NFL-ready QB, and there were times early this summer where I was like, maybe I believe in Sam Darnold.
Yeah.
Those were quickly wiped away when I saw him play again in the preseason, and I saw how quickly J.J. McCarthy won the starting job there in his first season. I am all the way out on this Vikings team. I'm not even trying to draft J.J. Jettas. I just think that Sam Darnold looks terrible, that this Vikings team is going to be bad. And if Vegas is giving us a line like the Giants at +100 at home, I think I got to take it. I'm also wanting to just bet on Brian Dabble and take the guy who's supposed to be a starting QB, right? And Daniel Jones over the guy who has lost multiple starting QB jobs and has now become a perennial backup for what it seems like in Sam Darnold. So give me the Giants at +100, as gross as that sounds to say.
I know.
Don't
You
you
could
think this will
almost say-
move through the week though? Like you can get +100 now, but what is it going to be
It
when the
could.
game happens?
It could.
I don't know. I mean, the Giants
I could.
could skip
I can
it.
see
if
this
there's
flipping the-
enough chatter. I think they were +105 last night.
Okay.
Yeah, I can see
I can
maybe
see this-
flipping a little bit.
Yeah, I could see this line flipping to the other direction, like the Giants becoming like -1, -1.5, something like that in the next between now and Saturday. I like the Giants too. I kind of like the under better though. Like you mentioned that, Betsky. I think that this game could be an under spot. I mean, tough. Don't really know. Real quick before we move on though, let's just establish that Crutch is a Patriots fan, and he has always been a Patriots fan, and he will continue to be a Patriots fan. We've all asked him like 6 different iterations over, are you a fan of this team? No, he's still a Patriots fan. So we can just establish that. But he's playing the game with us on which team he would take in these situations, which is good.
Mm-hmm.
So boys, bring it up. Bozo moment. All of us liking the Giants. We all know what that means, chat. Go bet the Vikings. Anything else? Any props or anything like that you guys want to talk about, or should we move on?
Honestly, kind of want to take a Malik Neighbors to get in the end zone week 1. But outside of that, I feel like that's the only fun bet that I'm going to take that with some like little plus money value. I believe it's now. What is it at now?
Yeah, there you go, Brendan.
I'm sure it's
Yeah, +145. I got it at +150. I like the value there. I think if anybody's going to get in the end zone, their backfield is depleted. Their wide receiving core has been depleted for, it seems like, almost a decade since OBJ left. So give me Neighbors to get in the end zone.
Yeah, I like it. I'm waiting for his receptions to come out. I think that's going to be really undervalued because
You think they're just going to force feed him the ball?
Just going to force feed. I mean, this is the piece. This is the statement piece.
Okay.
That's why they brought it. That's why they drafted him. That's why they brought him there.
And and you could say that this is a contract year for DJ too, because if he can't succeed here, he's probably going to they'll probably find a way to produce buy him out or something.
I think that if the Giants don't do if they're okay, I think they can probably still kind of keep rolling in this direction. But if they have a similar season like they did last year, if Daniel Jones really struggles, I think we see them blow it all up in the offseason and start over from the top down.
Yeah, head coach, everything.
Yeah.
Bill Belichick will be a Giant again.
There you go. Bring him back. All right, so we move on.
Yeah.
Guys, you know the deal, chat. We're all on the same side. Take the Vikings. All right, let's move on. Let's talk about this one. Battle of Florida teams, 2 teal teams. Jaguars traveling just down the road to Miami to South Beach. Dolphins 3-point favorites at home. The over-under set at 50. I'll go first in this one because I have a play in this game. I like the Dolphins here. Give me the Dolphins -3. I know you guys know I'm not a big believer in this Jaguars team. Not necessarily because of the division, but I don't think that they're very good that much. I like the Dolphins. Mike McDaniel's just signed an extension. I think they've committed to his system. They've committed to his style. I think Tyreek is going to have another massive season, and I think that starts week 1. The Jaguars have some question marks in the secondary. I don't think their defense is going to be really good this year, and they're getting probably the biggest test they might have all season to start the year, and I don't know how that's going to go. So give me the Dolphins -3. I really like this. I could see this maybe moving to 3.5, maybe 4, depending on how this line kind of goes the rest of the week. It's already kind of moving right now. I got -110. It's actually -115 in some spots. So yeah, give me the Fins. I think they get the job done, maybe win by a touchdown or more to start the season. What do you guys think? What are you guys liking this game?
Honestly, I like this a lot. I feel suspect taking the points, even though I know that I feel like Miami's offense is really, really good. But I feel like this is going to be one of those spots where I'm using the Dolphins money line and something else as a little 2-team parlay piece just to get you to like plus money, and it's not something I do often, not in the MLB, maybe not even that much in the NBA, just because of how kind of different both of those sports are with upsets every night and things like that. But when you come to the NFL, you get 18 weeks. That means 17 games. That's all you have. There is no room for error. There's no room for anything. You lose the first 4 or 5 games right out of the gate, you probably aren't making the playoffs, right? Every game matters. These games matter. This is a home game against another in-state opponent in the Jacksonville Jaguars. I really like this Miami offense. They're bringing everybody back. They have Tyreek. They have Waddle. They have A-Chain now in his second season. That guy was averaging almost, 8 yards per touch last year, right? So it's bonkers. That guy, they have what it seems like the 3 fastest players in the NFL, and Mostert is 50. Right. So I love this Dolphins offense. I'm taking the money line, whether I parlay that with the Bengals money line and I'm trying to be a little bit soft, or maybe that Saints money line at -205 to get a little plus money value. That's how I'm going to be playing this one. But I love the Dolphins to win this one outright. I think that they probably cover the 3 as well. I'm just getting a little bit soft in week 1.
Also, just to mention, you mentioned Raheem Mostert, but Raheem Mostert scored 18 touchdowns last year. We talked about this when we were looking at the AFC South, the AFC East. His touchdown line's like 7.5, which to me just was wild. But yeah, I think this is just a Dolphins, win this game. I like the 3 too. You get the push. You get maybe the push potential if they win by a field goal. You get your bet back. But yeah, I really like the Fins here. So Betsky, do you guys got any thoughts, any props or anything like that you like in this game?
I think there's a sneaky touchdown. I just kind of dug it up. I was curious of what the number would be, but Brian Thomas Jr. is +280 for anytime TD. They said he was finding some chemistry with Lawrence in preseason, and Miami was 25th in passing touchdowns last season. So it's a little risky. He's a rookie, but I mean, he was absolutely killer at LSU, and then this is one of those pieces that they kind of let Calvin Ridley walk because of. So
okay,
I mean,
kind of interesting.
He has the potential to get a lot of targets in this offense because they have Christian Kirk and Gabe Davis and him.
And he's
they got
looked
Evan
good
Ingram.
in the preseason.
Very good.
Yeah,
indeed. I like that for the value, Betsky. You're getting that +200. Would you say +280?
280. Yeah,
that's nice. Stuck. Any comments on this one?
No
You're
comments
the
on
other
this game
Florida
at all.
team.
No, 0 comments on this game. We can keep it moving.
All right, let's keep it going. Let's go ahead and do this one now. Titans taking on the Bears. We will be watching this game live in Chicago. 4-point underdogs are the Titans on the road in Chicago at Soldier Field to start the season. 4-point favorites. Over under set at 45. I'll go last. Just let you guys. I want to hear you guys' thoughts on this one. What do you guys think? You think Caleb Williams and the Bears can get the job done to start the season at home, or do you think the Titans got a chance in this one? Sook, you didn't really comment on the last game, so what do you think?
I think the Titans go on the road and get a W. I think they really do. I think you can take the money line at plus 175. SPJ, I mean, we talk every day. We talk about how this locker room does have weapons. They're a lot. You're a firm believer that they're getting over their win total. So if they're going to get over their win total, we went through that schedule. They need a W in week 1 against a rookie quarterback. So give me Tennessee plus 175 on the money line.
Chat, just, go ahead and make fun of me for it. This is my dog of the week, but I really like the Titans at plus 4.5. I'm probably going to sprinkle the money line at plus 175, but I really like the 4.5 points. I got 4.5. I finally locked it in. I was kind of toiling with it because it was moving. It's 4 in some places. Try to find the 4.5 if you can. We've talked about this a bunch. I think this team's going to be getting booed by my own father. And I think the Titans come in, and I think they have a really good chance to win this game. I think it's going to be pretty close. Yeah, for sure. Resting. I have another one just so you know, so you don't know that it's not going to only be Titan stuff. But yeah, I think the Titans have a good chance to come into Soldier Field and get a dub to start the season. But I like the 4.5 points a lot. So you two over there, you got any thoughts? Both taking the Bears?
I don't mind Titans on the spread in there a little bit. I see it. I think Bears could come out and just start going ham week 1, but rookie QBs take a little bit of time to kind of feel things out, and it's week 1. It's going to be loud in Chicago, but it's going to be interesting to see if Williams can live up to the home fans week 1.
I will say, did you guys see the clip of
high.
Caleb? Did you guys see the clip of Caleb talking about being nervous?
No.
Okay,
No.
So he's standing there, and the quarterback coach comes up to him and says, "Are you nervous? Preseason game at home, everyone's going crazy." He looks at him, he goes, "No, I haven't been nervous since I was a kid. Since I was like," he says some shit like, since he was 14, he hasn't been nervous. He is ready to play. So if you really do believe in Caleb Williams, then don't listen to me and SPJ, but I'm definitely pressing that money line.
I just think that the Titans defense has been built around stopping the run, and they didn't go away from that. They still have studs up front in Devondre Sweat and Jeffrey Simmons that are going to be able to help stop this run. But the thing is if the Bears are going to win football games this year, it's going to come by Caleb Williams throwing the ball everywhere. Mm-hmm. I mean, Ladarius Sneed, Chido Awuzie, Roger McCreary. We talked about this Titans secondary. I think they're going to have a chance to get a hold of Williams here. And I think I like that interception mentioned by Crazy Pellet. I'm not going to go too heavy on this game, though, because I'd like to enjoy watching it with you guys instead of literally just pulling my hair out the entire time. But I think the Titans are a sneaky spot here, plus 4.5. I like that. And like I said, sprinkle the ML. V, what you think about this game?
All right. So unfortunately, I'm not going to give us another panel moment here, but I'm also not taking the Bears. I know I've been talking crap to you, SPJ, talking shit, saying I am going to take the Bears in week 1. But as I was looking at this entire week 1 slate diving in, there's a play I found that I liked better, and it's the under 45. Like you just said, L'Jarius Sneed, Chido Awuzie, who they just added. They still got Jeffrey Simmons up front. They also have Devondre Sweat up front. This is a Titans defense that has reloaded. They took their 2 best cornerbacks in Sean Murphy Bunting and whoever the hell else was out there and got rid of them. And they brought in 2 of the NFL's most elite cornerbacks. One in L'Jarius Sneed, coming off of a Super Bowl on an elite Kansas City defense, the best Kansas City defense we have seen in any of their Super Bowl runs or any since Patrick Mahomes has come and joined the Chiefs, right? He is now playing on the one side. You got Chido Awuzie from the Bengals defense last year, who also played, and he just got a 3-year, $36 million deal from the Titans 2 weeks before they brought in L'Jarius Sneed. They are committing to defense. They are committed to that side of the ball, and because of that, I don't think that the Bears are going to come in and have as easy of a time as everybody thinks they are. I don't I hate to bring up a bozo on today's show because I know we're not doing bozo of the week, but I got to talk about Nick Wright and the fact that he has the Chiefs and the Bears in the Super Bowl this year. I don't see it. I don't see it. I don't see it. I love Caleb Williams, and this is coming from a Caleb Williams believer, and not even believer. I am a I wouldn't even like. I love Caleb Williams. I love his game, but do I think the Bears are going to be that good this year? Absolutely not. They hung their hat on defense last year. It's the reason they won any games with Justin Fields last year, and I really think that today in Week 1, nerves. They're playing in Bears at Soldier Field. It's going to be they're playing in at Soldier Field. It's going to be a good one. Right. I just think that this is going to be a defensive game with two young QBs that are going to maybe struggle to get the ball moving against two elite defenses. So give me the under 45 at -110. That's what I have locked in, and that's what I'll be sweating out with you guys next Sunday.
I love that.
Yeah, I like that too. Also, Titans brought in Ernest Jones last week from the Rams, one of the best blitzing linebackers in the NFL last year. And Denard Wilson, who's the defensive coordinator for the Titans, he's going to blitz a fuck ton this year. Like, you are going to watch this team just literally downhill, especially from the linebacking perspective. So Ernest Jones and Kenneth Murray are going to be flying in that backfield. I think it's going to give Caleb Williams hell Week 1. Any final thoughts on this one before we move on? It's going to be fun to sweat this one out with you guys. Betsky, did you want to talk about this one at all? You got any plays you like in this game?
No, I'm a wait and see on the Bears offense to see who has that chemistry, because I mean that may be top 5 receiving core in the league, but gotta feel it out first. I'm kind of thinking with this whole idea of Titans just slamming the blitz button is Williams rushing over 17.5, but kind of a gamble there. But if you think he can scramble a little bit and tries to make some big plays with his legs, that may be a good one to hammer before, as we've said like 3 times already, it goes up.
Yeah,
100%. Well, and also the Bears, I mean, their offensive line has been a struggle over the last couple of seasons. Obviously, Justin Fields was running for his life a lot, successfully in a lot of situations, but mostly out of necessity, not because of design. And I could see something similar for Williams this year. Yeah, exactly. Okay, should be a fun one regardless. I think it's gonna be a good game. Two teams that it could totally set the tone to have fairly successful seasons if either one of these teams get a win in Week 1. I think that both of these rosters are in similar positions to be successful if their quarterbacks play well, and we're going to find out if either one of them can produce in Week 1 and how that goes. So, all right, let's move on. Let's talk about the next game. Oh, I'm so excited, kids. Oh yeah. Let's go to this one. Rams taking on. Oh, this is Sunday Night Football. We'll save that one. My bad. We'll go to Sook's team. The Commanders taking on the Buccaneers. Bucks are at home, 3.5-point favorites against this Commanders team. New look Commanders team in a lot of different ways. The over/under is 43.5. Sook, I'll lob this one up to you, brother. Are you taking your boys Week 1?
I am. We have to. If you look at the Bucs schedule, we're taking on the Commanders, but then after that, we got the Lions, Eagles, Falcons, Saints, Ravens, Falcons again. We got a tough schedule. We need to get every win we can, especially against this Commanders team that's fielding a rookie quarterback, has a lot of turnover on their coaching staff. They were the worst defense in the league last year. Baker and the Bucs need to win this game, and they need to start to get into a rhythm early in the season because that schedule is such a gauntlet. So give me the Bucs -3.5. I think we win this game by a touchdown. I think Baker and his entire team, like the Bucs have so much continuity coming into this season. You guys, 44 out of the 53 players on the Bucs roster were either undrafted free agents or drafted by the team. Baker and a few handful of guys are the only guys that were not brought in from the start. This team was 9-8 last year. I think we get 10 wins this year. And in order to get to 10 wins, we got to beat the Commanders.
No arguments. I have no arguments. Betsky, V, you guys got any thoughts on this one? V's muted. Coach, you muted.
Sorry. I was looking something up. I don't want to interrupt Sook, but I do really like this over in this one. I think that, like Sook said, this Bucks team, when they were winning games last year, it's because Baker was throwing touchdowns. It's because Mike Evans was catching touchdowns. It's because the offense was humming. It was not based on defense. Yeah, they would close out games. They would finish games on defense, but it would not be without offense. And now we're getting Jaden Daniels on this Commanders team with Terry McLaurin. They even shipped out Jahan Dotson. I know that everybody was kind of questioning that, shipping him to an in-division rival, but I think it just kind of attests to what the Washington Commanders all feel like they have in their locker room and in their wide receiving room. I think that they're going to be a good team, and I think that Jaden Daniels is going to be exciting this year, and I'm very excited to watch him play. This is one of the few overs I'm taking in week 1 just because we know what it was like in the NFL. Lots of unders, like total and game totals I'm talking about, not like props and stuff like that, but in terms of game totals, I'm not taking a lot of overs this week, but I do like the Bucks and Commanders over here. I think the two high-powered offenses supported by defenses that are more not bad, but middle of the pack rather than good. And I think that both offenses could have kind of an easy time with a couple of explosive plays. The line's sitting at 43.5. We get a 25-20 game, and that's money.
I like that V because the offensive coordinator is what's his name? Cliff Kingsbury. He had the air raid offense. He said they're not going to play that right away or at all. But I do think they're going to play a lot of wide receivers, a lot of throwing. This ball is going to get aired out a lot by Jaden. And I don't know if they're going to be successful at it, but I really like the over for that reason because it's going to be gunslinging out there.
The Commanders allowed 30.5 points per game last season. Take that in, 30.5 points per game last season. And you cannot tell me one dude that they added defensively that is going to make a difference on that side of the ball. Jaden Daniels is going to be fantastic, and hopefully he wins them some games, but their defense has not gotten any better, and the Bucks offense is just as good, if not better, with Baker on a new contract. Swagger Baker is what I'm here for this year.
Yeah. And don't forget about Sorry, I was just going to say, don't forget about Luke McCaffrey on the Commanders. I'm really high on him this year.
I will argue, though, because when we talked about this division, and Ben Betsky, I'll let you take it. But you said this Commanders defense didn't add any pieces. I'd beg to differ a little bit. You got Bobby Wagner, one of the best linebackers in the entire NFL, coming into this team. You got Dan Quinn coming over, who's now going to be in charge of this defense, and he built that nasty Cowboys defense. So I think their defense is going to be improved. I don't think it's going to be like top tier, but I think it's going to be better. However, I love the over.
Go from 32nd to like anything good, right?
I think their idea right now is just be below average. Like just don't be 32nd. And so you got to get to one point before you can climb to the next point. But I think they're going to be a little bit better. But I like the play, V. I really like that over the 43.5. I mean, this game could be a fun one from a scoring perspective.
Before Betsky goes, can I just quickly comment on this? Rashad White is going to have a shorter leash this season. He only had 3.6 yards per carry last season. If he does not improve on that number, they are going to give Bucky every single look they can. The kid is good.
Betsky, any thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I'm going to be like the human centipede and get right behind you guys and take more of that Baker bullshit right through my innards and through the next person. And I'm jumping right on that over 1.5 passing touchdown for him.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's fucking go.
I have a terrible mental image right now.
Hit 7 of the last 10 games of the season. I mean, once everything started clicking with that team, he just delivered. So I love it, especially against this Commanders defense.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Game 1. I love it. Must win. Like you said, they can't start slow.
I kind of lean with you, Sook, on the Bucks. I could maybe be convinced with us, because we're obviously going to build a Chicago Town Boys money line parlay of all of us, where we all have a pick, and I feel like the Bucks ML is on button. I have no problem adding into this one for sure. All right, chaps. Any more thoughts on this game? Should we keep going?
None.
Let's keep it moving. Chat, drop some dubs if you guys are enjoying the game. We're about a little over halfway through the slate. We've got a few more games to get to. We're going to touch on some, not spend a lot of time with them, but we've been trying to give you guys as good of analysis and having some fun along the way because, boys, we got real football to talk about. Let's fucking go. Next one should be a very fun one. Two different teams looking to make statements this season. Falcons taking on the Steelers in the Dirty South in Atlanta. 3-point favorites are the Falcons. The over-under is set at 41. What do you guys like in this game? Two different teams looking to make, like I said, kind of revamped a little bit, looking to make new quarterbacks leading the way for both of them. Betsky, I'll let you holler this one first. Do you like anything in this game?
You know, early into last season, I was writing Bijan receptions, and it was cashing pretty frequently, and that's something I just kind of want to jump right back to. I mean, upgrade at QB. I think we're finally going to see them really kind of utilize him as like one of the main focal points of the offense. And his receiving skills just kind of took a dip because of the way they were scheming the games by the end of the season. But he was playing a little bit looser at first, and I think he's going to be a big piece here. And I think there's going to be a lot of short plays if the Steelers defense can continue what we saw with last season. TJ White's obviously a monster. Cousins, especially coming off the injury, may be more prone to just kind of make quick short plays, and I love it. I mean, this is kind of what we saw when Delvin Cooks was in his prime on those Vikings teams, just kind of nabbing little balls and bringing them in.
Just to bounce off of that, my favorite play in this game is kind of similar to what all the lines we've talked about from a props perspective is. I don't know if we're going to see this line as low as we will after week one, depending on how this goes, but I really like Bijan over 95.5 rushing and receiving yards. I think this could be free money. If they use him correctly, it's looking like they're going to. I think he's going to get the full workload. And they're going to want to come out, new team, new quarterback, and say, we're not going to misuse this guy this year. This guy's getting the football. We're going to scheme up plays for him. We're going to throw him some screens. We're going to get him in the backfield, give him some carries. I like the 95.5 rushing and receiving. I love the touchdown play too. I think that it's a good opportunity for Bijan to hit the ground running. So I really like this line. I actually haven't bet it yet, but I'm going to bet this by next weekend for sure. Sook, V, you guys got any thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I do. I have a running back prop, a running back touchdown scorer, and it's not the guy you've been talking about, Bijan Robinson. We're going to Najee Harris, a dude that last year kind of underwhelmed a lot of people. Maybe even the last two seasons, the argument could be made. He kind of was underwhelming for this Pittsburgh offense. We saw the emergence of Jaylen Warren last year and how good he looked both downfield and just kind of getting into the end zone. He was making big play after big play and kind of vulturing touchdowns from Najee. The one thing that is different this year than the last 2 years is that Najee's entering a contract season. This is the year that he needs to prove it or he will be out of the league. I promise you that. This is not a holdout type situation. This is not any of those kinds of things. He had two back-to-back down years. He's looking like he might lose his job to the young Jaylen Warren. He's not old himself. It's way too early for him to be looking like this. And I just think that now with the QB situation the way it is, Pittsburgh is going to have to lean heavily on the run game, whether that means 20 for Najee Harris and like 13 to 14 carries for Warren. That could be it. But I do think that Najee Harris sees opportunities this season, and especially in week one. And I do think that he makes the most of those opportunities. So give me his touchdown at plus 155 is what I'm seeing it at. Getting a running back to get in the end zone at that number, I really like it. The Falcons were giving up 118 yards per game on the ground last season. It's not one of the worst, but it's definitely not the best. They're very middle of the pack against the rush game. They've got a new head coach this season. Things are going to be changing just a little bit over there, and I do think I agree with Crutch that this line sitting at -3 with the Falcons on the road, with how bad the Steelers have looked in the preseason, whether it's Fields or whether it's Russell Wilson in the behind center. I just don't think they're going to be a good team this year, and that's why I don't feel comfortable betting the Falcons at this line with how bad I really truly feel the Steelers are. So what I'm going to do is I'm taking Najee Harris to get in the end zone, and I'm just going to sweat that out all game at plus 155.
Boom. Sick.
I haven't pressed this button yet, but looking at what kind of listening to Betsky saying he thinks there's going to be like a lot of short throws here, a lot of short plays. I kind of like Pat Fryermuth for over 23.5 receiving yards. I haven't pressed this button yet, but he's heading into his 4th season, and kind of tight ends kind of end up being like your soother. So I think in this game, you could see that situation kind of playing out. Haven't pressed that button yet, but I think I might.
I think if I had to choose, I'd take the Falcons with the points at home. I think that we've talked about this team. This team has the most potential to be truly legit this year if Kirk Cousins can put it together. I feel like that could start in week 1. You know, they could come out and really get the ball moving. Kirk Cousins could look great. Kyle Pitts could be amazing. As we've hoped that's going to happen. And the Falcons could win by a touchdown or more. So, yeah. Guys, anything else for this one, or should we keep going?
That's about it for me.
Nope, all good. All right, let's go to where do we want to go next? Let's go to an AFC South game, which should be a fun one. Texans taking on the Colts in Indianapolis. Texans looking to be one of the top teams possibly in the entire AFC this season. 2.5-point favorites are the Texans right now. Colts 2.5-point dogs at home. Over/under is set at 49. V, kick us off. What do you like in this one?
Man, the Colts almost were my dog of the week this week. I really believe in Anthony Richardson. I think he's going to be great. I think he's got a good arm. I think he's also got a great running ability with him, right? And I do think that his injury last season was unfortunate, but he's a guy I didn't believe in coming into last year, and he kind of proved me wrong with the games he was playing and how he was playing them. This Colts team is a team that almost made the playoffs last season, with Gardner Minshew under center, with Jonathan Taylor missing multiple games. Michael Pittman wasn't healthy for every single game, but now this team was built to compete for a long time with Andrew Luck, and now they have the QB that they've been waiting for to kind of fill those shoes again. And I do think that plus 2.5 for a Colts team in division rival at home, it just screams to me that, like, this is not a place I'm taking the money line. I'm taking the plus 2.5 because a sweaty little Texans field goal to win by 1 or win by 2 at the end of the game, I could definitely see, but I'm taking the plus 2.5. I feel like there's a reason it's not sitting at plus 3. I've been seeing it at that line for a while now, and it hasn't really budged. So give me the plus 2.5 on the Colts. I will be sprinkling the money line, but I think there's too much hype coming in this season with the Bears and the Texans. I'm just not ready to buy into it yet.
I like everything you had to say, except I'm taking a tiny bit of a different angle with this one, and I actually have bet this. I like the over in this game. Give me the over 49. I think that we're going to see a lot of points. The Colts defense is not very good. The Texans also, they have a pretty decent defense, but I think the Colts are going to be able to move the ball against them, especially at home. I think this game could turn into a really, really back and forth affair. And I like the 49. I kind of lean with you too on the Colts, but I fucking hate the Colts, so I'm not going to bet them. But I like the over. Give me a lot of points. Betsky, what do you think about this game?
Yeah, I like both of these takes a lot. I'd probably stick more with that spread. But I'm tempted by that money line for the Colts as well. One that popped out to me, and again, new piece for the Texans, but Mixon has crushed his receiving yards over the past 20 games. Hit 75%. It's 12.5 receiving yards. That seems just dirty. I mean, you're taking the risk of not knowing how he's going to be involved in all of those mouths to feed in Houston, but let's not forget, this was a Colts team that was set up to be a contender not that long ago.
Mm-hmm. Man, you guys remember last season where we went through like 4 or 5 weeks where Joe Mixon was his receiving yards line was just fucking air. Mm-hmm. I mean, different team, obviously, but CJ Stroud's going to throw the football. I love this for 17.5, dude. I might have to tap in with you on that one because I love that line. I think he's going to get a pretty decent run. I don't think they're going to be taking him out a lot because of his versatility. The 17.5 line could be absolutely free, and then we don't ever see it at 17.5 again.
Yeah, that could be like a 21.
Yeah, facts. Yeah, I like you get that in one catch too, one screen. He used to do that in Cincinnati all the time. They threw him like a couple little like dump down screens, and he would get all of his receiving yards in one play. Could be the same situation here. Love that. So, you got any thoughts on this one before we keep it going?
I had to stay off this game because I don't see the Texans clearly. I like them too much. I like Nico Collins, I like Tank Dell. I've loved CJ Stroud. I'm a huge fan of all of the Texans' offensive pieces. So I'm not going to bet this game because when people like V, Betsky, and you that are smarter than me with football, if you guys look at the Colts, then I'm just going to shut my mouth and not touch this game.
I think that this could turn into a situation where we find out if the Texans are legit very quickly. Because if the Texans win this game by 2 touchdowns and kind of dismantle the Colts, then people are going to be like, okay, they are going to contend for the AFC this season.
Yeah.
Which I'm on the side of not necessarily knowing that for sure yet. So I kind of lean with a little more than what these guys are saying, but it could happen. I mean, the Texans could come out and blow the doors off of them, and then we're talking about them maybe going to the Super Bowl.
Kind of how I'm feeling right now about the Texans and the Bears this year is how I was feeling about the Lions and the Jaguars last year. I was like, both of these teams are either on the cusp of being great teams and competing every single week, or they're on the cusp of being this overhyped team entering this season because of the players that they have and, the assets that they've had. And I think that maybe the Texans could be more like the Lions, right? We'll see. That's yet to be seen. But we saw what happened with the Jaguars last year. And very easily, this Bears team and this Texans team could both go that exact same way. So we have yet to see how they play. Getting the Colts in week 1, a divisional opponent on the road, it's a tough test. But I guess if they do win, it will prove that maybe this team is legit. But I got to see it to believe it.
100%. All right, let's move. Let's talk about the last early game, and then we've got a couple more primetime games to get to, and then we're going to send you guys off. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. This one should be fun. Bills taking on the Cardinals. And good luck. You can spank him later, Paul. The Cardinals, 6-point underdogs coming into Orchard Park, taking on the Bills in Buffalo. 6-point favorites. Over under set at 48. Betsky, I'll throw you this one first, brother. You got any thoughts on this game? Do you think the Bills have a chance to kind of silence the haters and kind of start the season off on the right foot, or do you think the Cards are gonna, with Kyler Murray coming back, gonna make some noise?
Man, I'm not gonna place my faith anywhere else but the Bills still. I mean, maybe if it was on the road, but even if it was on the road, there'd probably be a half full arena of Bills fans or more in Arizona anyways. So give me the Bills, but I mean, I'm not going to touch that money line. Kind of sneaking back. This comment was brought up before of maybe grabbing another juiced up money line and stapling the Bills to it to get it at plus money. The spread worries me a touch though. So on the flip side, if I'm going to play a side that is a little bit more bettable, maybe the Cardinals spread looks kind of good. It's risky though. I mean, you're really just kind of banking that the Bills take a step back and the Cardinals kind of get the ball rolling right away. What I do love though. Okay.
Just real quick before you say your piece, I know Colby actually has bet the Cardinals +6. He actually is on that bet. So I know that he likes that from. So I kind of lean that direction too. But go. Are you going to talk about a prop?
Yeah, Kincaid, man, just give me it. Juice me up now. This is a Bills team that the offense is pretty much completely new as far as the receiving corps goes since Gabe Davis and Diggs left. When they drafted Kincaid last season, their general manager said we're going to make every single team that passed on him pay that we got him. And I think this is going to be the big Kincaid season. I love him for fantasy. I rode Sam Laporta receptions so long into the season last year, and you were just getting it for free. It was kind of like that mix and receiving yards you were talking about. And I think Kincaid is going to be that guy this year. So grab it while you can. I think he's going to be the central receiving weapon for this Bills team for a large part of the season. Situational, if Bills are up, he can make the small pass to keep the play alive. If they're down, I think Kincaid could make big plays too. He's got that ability. Every single prop I'm willing to take on him in this first game.
I was going to ask you which line. Do you like the receptions the best, you think, or the yards?
I like I'm really between both. The receptions are a little high. It's 5.5, but again,
dude, doesn't it just tell you though? Look at everybody else in line. Yeah, it's more in line with Marvin Harrison Jr. He's going to be a high possession target, and we know what it's like for tight ends. Once you develop that kind of chemistry with a tight end, the target share goes crazy because you get like the 3, 4, 5 yard dump offs. You get those seam routes. You get those like little corner routes, and then if you are really that good, you get put on the outside or in the slot, and then you are just destroying those matchups with the linebackers. And we know Arizona is like so thin at that position.
I really like Coop Eagle mentioned in the chat about liking the over. I kind of like that. The over 48. I could see both of these teams scoring some points in this game.
Bill's defense took a step back.
Yeah, and Kyler's back too.
Touchdown?
I like Kincaid touchdown. Yeah, again, every across the line, receptions, receiving yards, touchdown. I like it all for him. This is a nice matchup for him to get going right away too.
Kyler's back, which is interesting in this situation from the Cardinals' perspective too. Like he was obviously out last season, that got back near the end of the year, looked decent, but when Kyler's right, he can be dynamic, even though we make fun of him for his stature a lot of the time. But, they've given him could be a bona fide number one wide receiver out there in Arizona, in Marvin Harrison Jr. Maybe he has a coming out party against this Bills defense that's looking to be kind of maybe middle of the road this year. I'm starting to maybe talk myself into taking this over. I like this over a lot now that we're talking about it.
I will say
any thoughts on this one?
Sorry, go ahead. I was going to say, I think I found the second team in that little parlay I was talking about with the Dolphins. I think it's going to be a little, what is this, AFC East? No, AFC, AFC East. Two-teamer. We're taking the Bills on the money line. We're taking the Dolphins on the money line, plus 122 for both of those guys. I just think both of these teams aren't losing in week one. We saw the Bills lose week one last year to the Jets after Aaron Rodgers went down on some freak shit, right? Like where it's not happening again. Every game matters. This Bills team is playing at home. They're ready to make a statement. They opened the season on the road last year in New York. Not this year. This year they're playing at home in Buffalo, and they're getting a turn-up game from the league. They're getting the Cardinals all the way on the East Coast, down from Arizona. And we know what the weather's like in Buffalo. Like it's going to be first week of September, so it's probably been snowing for 6 months.
Yeah, it's good. Well, it's for anybody with Arizona blood, it's freezing up there right now.
Yeah, so give me the Bills money line with the Dolphins money line, plus 122. Call me soft, call me whatever, but this is what the NFL was built on, these 2-3 team parlays, and meet me at the cashier's desk.
A Savage Paid asked a question in the chat, and I think he's probably talking about Keon Coleman from the Bills.
Yeah.
So I'll toss it to you.
Baby.
There you go.
Keon Coleman. Dude is tall. Dude is fast. Dude makes athletic catches. Crutches, if you're still here, he fucking knows. He sent me some crazy highlights of Keon Coleman. I think he plays great this season, and I think his touches might be limited for the same reason Betsky is saying. Dalton Kincaid. He only had 2 touchdowns last year, but now his receiving touchdowns line is 6. There's a reason for that. They're going to throw him the ball a lot. So I think Keon Coleman, a great player. He's going to I am too fucking excited about him. I can't talk, but I don't think he's going to be like gangbusters from the start. I know we get spoiled with guys like Puka, but it's very, very difficult to come into the NFL as a rookie wide receiver and have a lot of success in your first season, let alone week one. So Keon Coleman, I've been looking at him all year. I don't know if I'm going to press any buttons on him for the start of the season, though.
All right. Should be a good one. This is going to be a fun one. Hopefully, whenever we're watching the game, maybe this will be on in an individual TV or obviously red zone action. But could be a fun affair up in Orchard Park to get the vibes moving for the Bills this season. Okay, 3 games left.
Sorry, SPJ. Keon Coleman live, playing his touchdown live might be a move.
Yeah, see if he's getting involved and
that's a good bet. I mean, take it before the game starts too, just because you never know.
Yeah.
All right, last 3 games. One of the afternoon games, then we're going to talk about Sunday Night Football and Monday Night Football. This one should be fun though. Browns, Cowboys, 2 teams that are looking to make noise in the AFC and the NFC this year. Browns are 2.5-point favorites at home against the boys. Over under is set at 42. V, I'll lob you up this one first because I know you got a play in this one that you like a lot. What are you seeing on this game?
I have a play in this one I like a lot. Oh, you're talking about Betsky?
Didn't you say you had something in this game?
I think it's Betsky. Betsky.
Yeah,
my bad, Betsky.
Just toss me
Here,
the
let me,
CD
let me,
touchdown.
here. He threw me the
Yeah.
alley oop. I'm gonna just throw it right up to you while we're still in the air on some NBA street ball type shit.
Yeah.
Let's get it.
And I'm dunking it with CD Lamb touchdown, man.
Let's go.
Yeah, hit 9 of his last, I think, 10 games it was at the end of the season. Just got that big contract. I know it's Cleveland. That's a tough defense to play against, but the Cowboys are going to need to stick in games, and this is going to be how is going to be airing it out. The running game is seemingly non-existent. I guess we'll see if that's actually the case, but I don't know. I think you just ride CD right from the get-go.
Got his contract, got his money, made the money. You know they're going to try to cash in immediately.
Yeah.
Hard to not want to take it for plus Chicky, even though the Browns defense is elite, you know? I kind of like, man, this line is so sus. I don't believe in the Browns this year, guys. I'm not a big Browns. I don't think this team's going to be very good. I think their defense is great, which is going to keep them in a lot of games. But this team, I think of all the teams in the NFL, could be a Super Bowl contender if Deshaun Watson is good. If Deshaun Watson is mediocre or bad, as he has been the last couple of seasons, regardless of injury status or whatever, this team's going to be kind of average. But I think they have the biggest discrepancy between whether they're going to be really, really good or really, really bad based upon how Deshaun Watson plays. And we just don't know. We haven't seen him be elite in like 5 seasons, and he got paid, to be elite. So I think it's going to be a very interesting game. I think kind of like the under maybe, but I don't have any takes on this one. That's kind of just my thoughts on the Browns, though.
I like what I just mentioned. Where is he? Savage. I like what Savage mentioned about Amari Cooper. I'm not seeing a receiving yards line on him right now, which would be my preferred bet if you guys can see it anywhere. But I do like the touchdown at plus 180. It is kind of a revenge narrative, and we did see him last year still put up great numbers. He's a great route. He has great route running skills. He has great hands. And if Deshaun Watson can just get him the ball, his biggest issue has been his QB play over the last 2 seasons in Cleveland. He played with a lot of DTR last year, a lot of moments with Deshaun Watson, but he's had no kind of consistent QB play. Deshaun Watson wasn't even in training camp last year. This year, he did get a full training camp, and whatever he looks like, we'll see. But I do really like Amari Cooper's receiving yard line, depending on what it comes out at today. If it's sitting in the mid 60s, I'm taking it. But if it's anything higher than that, I'll have to dive in a little bit deeper just because I want to see how Deshaun plays. But I do love Amari Cooper this week. I think that's a great look, Savage.
What if I told you it was 53.5? He hit it 13 out of 20 games.
I mean, what book? Actually, I'll ask you the book later. But I'm going to need to bet that. I'm going to need Bet Online to throw that line up for me too, please. Because I know that they're going to have it at 55.5, but they're sharp asses or something a little bit higher than that. But give me that line. Let me bet it. I love I love everything Amari Cooper this week. I think he's going to have a big game against a Dallas defense that was good, but in my opinion, overrated now, losing Dan Quinn as well. I do think that, we saw Trayvon Diggs. He is good in that secondary, but he gives up a lot of big plays, of big plays. And Amari Cooper is one of those guys that's playing his former team. He's not a guy that's going to get to play the Cowboys a whole lot being in Cleveland now. Unfortunately, this game isn't in Dallas, but his heart's in the exact same place. And that's probably, fuck Dallas, basically.
On that similar note, on the Browns side of things, swinging to a guy who really had a breakout year last year and could have a really good start to the 2024-2025 season. David Njoku, his receiving yards line is 45.5.
Yeah.
And I mean, the last 4 games of the season last year, including the playoff game, he had 93 receiving yards, 134 receiving yards, 104, 91, and 44. Those were all with Joe Flacco at the helm for the Browns. But I think that this line could be yet another one that is just sitting too low with what it should be. His line should be 55.5 in my opinion, and if we're getting 45.5, I might end up betting this myself. I like Njoku here. But
Jerry Jeudy's hit his receiving line 15 of the last 20 games, so 75%.
He's another guy.
I know.
New
and it's
team, new
maybe a wait and
situation.
see, but yeah, the reports are that he's looked really good and that they really want him to take a step up in this offense. So maybe this is
It's all the
year.
plays that we just mentioned all hinge on Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
Like, if Deshaun Watson can just deliver the ball where it needs to go, these guys could have a big game against this team. But if he struggles like he has over the last year and a half,
yeah. Hopefully he doesn't jerk us around.
no, he kind of likes that. So I don't know.
Hopefully he does.
What do you guys think about Jake Ferguson? His
Turd Ferguson,
receiving
I'm all
money.
about it.
Yeah, it's only 40 yards, Betsky.
Sweet, I
I
love
like
it.
his touchdown.
Yeah,
His touchdown's probably good value as well. Should be good this year. I mean, they've been talking some people have been talking about him being possibly a top 2 or 3 fantasy tight end this year if he has similar
receptions last
success.
year.
it's
Lots
him.
of touchdowns.
It's him, Brandon Cooks, and Tolbert or Tolbert. Tolbert, thank you.
Tolbert. I love
Tol-
Robert
that's the
Tolbert.
That's the French Canadian way of saying it.
Yeah, it's like
yeah.
Stephen Colbert.
I mean,
That's
French
awesome.
Canadian best in
Ferguson may be
Arizona.
the second most used weapon on the receiving end here. And again,
Yeah.
who's running the football for them?
Nobody.
Zeke.
Well, they also just, speaking of Dalvin Cook Love earlier, they just signed Dalvin Cook. So it's looking like it's going to be kind of a two-headed, I don't want to say monster, but a two-headed backfield. Let's say it's two-headed. How about that?
Yeah.
Two-headed midfield.
Yeah, two-headed midfest. Two-headed, senior home type of situation. Yeah. All right.
They
Well,
really
those are
put the midfield and backfield. Fuck.
all right. Last 2
Unfortunately,
games.
with that one, I got a dart, guys. But hell
Yeah,
yeah,
it's all good,
cannot
buddy.
wait.
Take it easy.
Yeah, see you
Take it
guys.
easy, brother.
Thanks for
See you
showing
later,
up.
man. Thanks for tapping in.
Yep.
Chat, we've got 2 more games to get to. Drop some dubs if you guys are enjoying the analysis. Dubs for Betsky as well. See you later, man. Drop some dubs if you guys are enjoying. We've got 2 more games to get to, and then we can send you guys off. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. As always, guys, go check out all the content that we have at bettingnews.com for free. I saw a couple questions in the chat about it. We are going to be dropping a lot of NFL content this week. We already have a lot of NFL content on the website. I'm going to be doing my favorite prop article, doing that every single week, coming out at the end of the week on Friday. V is going to be doing a touchdown article. We're going to have game pieces. We're going to have lots of NFL stuff getting ready for week 1. So if you be sure to tap in with us for free, bettingnews.com. You guys can read the scribbles of all of us throughout the week, getting ready and getting rocking and rolling going into the weekend. All right, last 2 games, gents. Friday, Sunday Night Football and then we'll talk about Monday Night Football.
I'm not ignoring you, Rusty. I promise. I'm just not at home based right now, and with accessibility to fancy glasses. That's all.
He's got fancy words. How about that? Is that good for you? All right, lads. Sunday Night Football. Rams, Lions. The Lions at home after their great season last year, looking to repeat success this year, kind of just reloaded and ready to do the same thing again. Lions 3.5 point favorites. The Rams are interesting at 3.5 point underdogs here. Over under set at 51. What do you guys like in this game?
The line being 3.5, but the money line being minus 175 is kind of I don't know. I feel like that's not falling in line with some of the other lines that we've seen today. I don't know, man. I like the Lions, and I want to believe in the Lions. They're super good. They have a stacked offense, and the defense has been fantastic too. But Matt Stafford back in Detroit, he's got like Cooper Kupp 100% healthy, Puka Nacua in year 2, Kyron Williams in that backfield in the way that he played last season, how explosive he was, and one of the most I don't know how I would describe it. One of the smartest head coaches in the NFL, right? One of the most creative head coaches in the NFL in Sean McVay. I just think that there's so much narrative here that the fact that this game is in Detroit, that this is Matt Stafford. I don't think is it his first game in Detroit?
No, they played last season in Detroit, and he had a game there. I remember that vividly. Yeah, but same again. This is always the same sentiment, probably.
And I feel like it's the same thing. It's something that's on the locker board. We're going back to Detroit, right? Stafford, show them whose house this is. So it's very tough for me to just sit here and say Lions on the money line. I don't know. Maybe the over. I don't feel comfortable yet with this being a prime time game. I really need to dive a little deeper into this one. But Amon Ra is the guy that I'm taking. You can't tell me that he's not coming into this game with a chip on his shoulder just because of who's on the other side of the ball. Cooper Kupp is one of the most elite wide receivers over the last 5 years. We're seeing Puka Nacua, who is the best rookie and was still probably a top 7, top 8 wide receiver last year, even playing behind Cooper Kupp. I do think that offense is stacked, and this is the kind of game that Amon Ra kind of comes in to set the tone and let them know who the best wide receiver on the field is today, regardless of team, right? So give me his receiving yards. Give me him to get in the end zone. I love Amon Ra this week, and I think that Goff and his trust in Amon Ra is why I like this the most. He has become that safety valve that we see a lot of guys like Keenan Allen type players become for their QBs. And that's why I love Amon Ra in this spot. And I think he has a big game in week 1, especially with his home splits last year. If you look at it, he was fantastic at home.
I agree with you, dude. I kind of like the over. I don't think I'm going to end up. We'll probably end up betting some shit with this on Sunday when we've all been either we're all very happy because our team's lost or we're sad and we've lost all of our bets and we're looking to catch up for Sunday Night Football. But I like the over. I also really like the Rams plus 3.5. I think if maybe you could tease this and take like the Rams like plus 8.5 or something like maybe a 6-point teaser. So Rams plus 9.5 and then the over, 45, something like that. Kind of tease it that way. I kind of like that. Like everything that you had to say. Stoke, what do you think about this game?
I see that 51 total, and I go, and everything you guys talked about, all the weapons in this game. This might be a game I just sit back and hope for points and just watch it and enjoy it. All the star power we're going to see on the field. This is definitely one that I might not touch, and I might just live bet maybe because I don't want to ruin this game. I want to enjoy this one. I'm going to be pulling my hair out when the Bucks don't fucking cover. And so I might as well get one game to enjoy, boys.
Fair enough.
Facts. Makes sense. It does feel like the thing is, though, it's a primetime game. And I know there's some statistics that have to do with primetime games and them going under and things like that. So there is that trend that exists. And it's the first primetime game of, well, I guess Thursday Night Football counts, but, the first Sunday Night Football of the season. So maybe there's going to be some weird things that happen, but could be some fireworks. We'll find out. All right, last one.
4 primetime games in week 1, so it's good. I don't know how much we can look at trends from last season to influence our bets this year. Thursday night, Friday night, Sunday night, Monday night. When's the last time that's happened? Right. So
facts. Well, and I think also, you can't. We only have data from last year at this point to pull from. But as we talk about all the time, with a lot of these rosters, a lot of them are very different. There's huge roster churn for a lot of these teams. You got to take that into account. All right, last one, chat. Here we go. Monday Night Football. The return of Aaron Rodgers taking on Brock Purdy and the newly signed Brandon Ayuk, who has joined the 49ers, got his money, got his bag. He's ready to roll. Start of the season. Monday Night Football. Niners at home in the Bay, 3.5-point favorites against the Jets. Over-under set at 41. I'm going to start this one off. I like the Niners minus 3.5. Yeah. I think the Niners come out, make a statement at home against this Jets team. I think that Brock Purdy and company, Brandon Ayuk comes out strong. McCaffrey, even though he's been kind of banged up in the preseason, I think he comes out ready to roll. And I just see the Niners getting the job done here at home. I do believe that Aaron Rodgers is going to be good in New York this season. I think Garrett Wilson should have a nice season as well. We've talked about that a lot in the offseason, so that maybe that starts week 1. However, I think that this Niners team is going to compete again to go to the Super Bowl. So I believe that this 3.5 points could be a gift. I think they win by a touchdown, maybe more. Give me the Niners minus 3.5 or minminus 115.
I think we found our first game of where we're going to see some contention here. We're going to be going head to head, SPJ, because the Jets, baby. Come on, Hovey. Stand up right now. It's the Jets this week. It's Aaron Rodgers. It's Garrett Wilson. This team is elite. I am not putting my faith in Brock Purdy in week 1. Aaron Rodgers is from the Bay Area. He played his college football, I'm pretty sure, in California, and he wanted to be drafted by the Niners. That was one of the biggest chips on his shoulder for his entire career, was that the Niners passed up on him for Alex Smith. Shout out Alex Smith, absolute warrior. No hate to that man. But he was pissed off that he was not getting to play for his home team, and he let it out on them every chance he got. The last time he played the Niners was in the NFC Championship game 2 years ago when they lost and it was heartbreaking, especially for me as a Packers fan. Now he gets a chance at redemption. He gets a chance to come in to Candlestick, right? It's Candlestick in the Bay Area. I think that's what the name of the arena is.
It was Candlestick. That's where they used to play. Now it's Levi Stadium.
Levi Stadium. There we go. I just think that he's going to have a game. Garrett Wilson and him have looked fantastic during OTAs. They have looked great. And I just think that connection is going to be very Aaron Rodgers, Devontae-esque. And I'm so here for it. Give me Garrett Wilson props this week. Give me his touchdown. I just think that the plus 3.5 for a Niners team that everybody has going to the Super Bowl from the NFC, blah, 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 blah. I don't see it. I don't believe in Brock Purdy. I do think that he's going to throw at least one interception in week 1. And give me the Jets, man. So much narrative. Aaron Rodgers didn't play all of last year. He tried to make it back before the end of last year off of an ACL injury. There's just too much narrative here for me to ignore. And I hate the Niners. So this is easy for me. This is easy for me. I'll let you guys know I'm not 100% impartial, but it's the Jets. It's the Jets.
All right. You believing in Aaron Rodgers coming off injury? He's got type 1 diabetes. He doesn't really believe in like traditional science.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I'm believing in Aaron Rodgers to come back and really compete. I know in camp everyone's talking about, he threw 11 for 11. He wasn't even wearing pads. I don't know how good Aaron Rodgers can be. Obviously, he's an MVP. He's such a great player. He's probably going to prove me wrong, but I'm scared of this game. If I was going to bet this game, I haven't touched anything yet. I would probably lean with SPJ and take the Niners because I just don't know. An older QB coming off a major injury, it's very, very tough to believe in that.
I think that this game's going to be fun, regardless. I have a play on Garrett Wilson for a future, so I hope he has a great game. I hope he has a great season. So I'm with you. I hope Aaron Rodgers gets the ball rolling early, but I think you're underselling Brock Purdy a little bit. Maybe you've been talking with Sandy too much, but I think that Brock Purdy is going to come out and do what he has been doing since he's been in the league, be elite. I think he's going to start that off again.
Elite.
I'll never get it.
We'll see.
You don't think he's elite?
Nope. I don't think he's elite.
Come
Why?
on. This team is so good on both sides of the ball. How can you not?
Exactly.
How could they do that without a good QB?
Because he's a QB that was blessed. I'm not saying he's not good, but I'm saying he's not elite. He's the Alex Smith, right? Great manager, great QB, but was Alex Smith ever elite? He was not, but he was surrounded by talent, as is Brock Purdy right now. You got Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, you've got George Kittle. Then you have guys in the backfield like Christian McCaffrey. No, tell me one QB in the league right now that has more weapons than Brock Purdy does. Tell me one QB that came into the league that had more weapons in his first season than Brock Purdy did.
I can't wait
but that doesn't to disregard somebody's ability because of the weapons that they have around him. He can't control that. All he can do is what he can do on the field. And at the end of the day, as we know, quarterback's responsibility is to get the ball to their playmakers in space. Absolutely. If he was bad or subpar, this team would be terrible because a quarterback is
go out there and win a game, go out there and be the reason that they win games. He's turned the ball over multiple times. He had multiple games last season with multiple interceptions. I don't think that he's that guy that everyone thinks he is yet. And I think he's going to get a fat contract from the Niners. It makes me happy, but I don't think he's that guy.
Can you name another elite player in the NBA that gets shit on because he has a lot of good teammates?
Jason
doesn't
Tatum.
Mean he's not elite. Yeah, doesn't mean he's
Jason
not
Tatum. Okay, hold on. Don't even start that shit. Jason Tatum went to the conference finals in his first year as a 17 or as an 18-year-old. We're not doing all
Brock
this.
Purdy went to the Super Bowl last year.
Yeah, Jason Tatum wasn't playing. Jason Tatum wasn't playing with the kind of talent that he was in his first year. Gordon Hayward was hurt in his first year. Kyrie Irving went down in his first year. And then who was the reason that we went to the conference finals? We're not doing this because we're not going to get into the Jason Tatum debate. So I know you're trying to jiggle me, but it's not the same comparison whatsoever at all. All
right, here's a question for you. Maybe this is interesting for the chat too. Right now, like what we know right now, would you rather have CJ Stroud or Brock Purdy as your quarterback in the NFL?
There's no way that you say Brock Purdy.
Yeah, I'd take CJ.
There's no way that anybody says Brock Purdy.
I really like the Texans, so
okay. No, that's fair, and I can understand. But you're taking CJ Stroud on the hope that what we saw last year was the ascension of what he could be, not from what we've actually seen. what we have seen with Brock Purdy is him lead a team to a conference championship game and then a Super Bowl in back-to-back seasons. I'm not saying I would take.
He didn't lead the team the first season. He kind of
take.
came into the role in the playoffs, and again, he was not the reason. He came and managed that game. Go look at his numbers. He was not putting up 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. He was not doing those kinds of things. Whereas CJ Stroud was doing those things with the 300-yard games, making Tank Dell look as good as he did last season in his rookie campaign. I just don't think that the comparison is there. Brock Purdy is a good quarterback, just not elite. He might be. He might be. I just don't think he's done what he's like. I don't see it. No, I'm sorry, Mr. Collins. We'll see it this year. Purdy's not better than Stroud.
We'll find out. But I mean, this has been my take about CJ Stroud since the beginning. Is like we have determined that this guy is elite when we've only watched him play for one season. Now that doesn't mean that he's not elite, but can we pump the brakes and watch it happen for another full season before we go ahead and crown him a top 5 quarterback in the NFL? That's my question.
Who has more passing yards week 1, Purdy or Rodgers?
Purdy.
Purdy.
You guys are tripping. Holy, you guys are tripping.
Oh wow, we waited till the last game and we finally got some discourse. Oh, I wish
Purdy isn't even going to throw for
thoughts.
250. Oh,
Relax, dude. Relax. Come on now. Your shaded glasses of hatred towards the Niners is bleeding into this opinion.
So bad, dude. This guy right now.
I can't wait.
You're
Monday
like
night now.
Brock Purdy through like Jameis Winston level of interception.
Everybody needs to change their tickets now. Nobody's leaving Monday night. We need to watch this game.
Okay. Before we tap the show, I just want to play a little game. Let's play a little game here. I'm gonna have to do this pretty quickly on the fly, but it's gonna be worth it, chat. So don't go anywhere. Hang on, I gotta figure this out then. Okay.
I'll play this for Crazy Pellet because he wanted me to play it earlier, and I think you guys will like it now after that argument.
Football.
Oh my
That's
God.
amazing. Hey, you can watch us directly after that. All right, real quick. I'm going to read you 2 quarterback stats. And you're going to tell me which quarterback you would take blindly. You guys ready?
Mm-hmm.
4,280 passing yards, 31 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, 113 passer rating, 69.4 completion percentage. Nice. Quarterback number 2, 63.9 completion percentage, 4,108 passing yards, 23 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, 100 rating. Which quarterback you taking?
Just listening off of those ones, I'd say QB1.
Suck.
Yeah, 1 higher rating.
Just to read it again, 69.4% completion percentage, 4,280 yards, 31 touchdowns, 11 picks, 113 rating for QB1. QB2, 63.9, 4,108 yards, 23 touchdowns, 5 picks, 100.8 reception. You guys are both taking QB1. Rusty's taking QB2. QB number 1, Brock Purdy. QB number 2, CJ Stroud.
Again, put CJ Stroud on the Niners and then see him throw for 5,000 yards.
Got him.
I'm just saying, like you
not
that's like
disagreeing.
taking LeBron and saying let's put LeBron on the Lakers instead of Tatum, and the Lakers won't win or the Celtics won't win another championship. Of course they would. Like you take somebody that's in a shitty situation, you put them in a better situation. That's why you can't compare these 2 players. Without CJ Stroud, the Texans are a 2-win team. Without Brock Purdy, the Niners probably still make the playoffs. That's the difference.
Okay.
For me,
Excited. I'm fucking excited.
Boys, how fun is week 1 going to be? Chat, we're a few days away from week 1. It is September the 1st. September is here. The NFL is here. We appreciate you guys stopping by and hanging out with us today for Gridiron Gang. If you liked what you listened to, if this was your first time tapping in with us, be sure to come and hang out with us. We do this every single Sunday. We go live on this channel every single day talking about our favorite sports bets and the sports news and just vibing out with you guys. So if this is your first time tapping in, give us a follow right here on Twitch, on YouTube, or on Twitter, wherever you're watching us. We appreciate you guys hanging out. And Thursday, we're back. We'll be back. So we're probably not going to have Gridiron Gang next Sunday. But because we're all going to be together and we're all going to be sweating out a lot of bets for week 1. So there will be something that we'll be able to do with you guys, but it's probably not going to be an actual Gridiron Gang getting ready for week 1. That's why we wanted to do it with you guys right now, to go through the entire slate and kind of see what we're looking at. But there's going to be lots of scribbles to go check out this week at bettingnews.com from V, myself, from Shags, from Colby, from everybody on the squad getting ready for week 1, from Betsky as well. So be sure to tap in with us over at bettingnews.com for free content over there as well. Guys, you got any final words before we get out of here?
Just can't wait for Thursday night, boys. I can't wait to hear that music. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Real quick, I've had a couple questions about the LSU game tonight in college football, the only game on, because there is football today, but it's college football. Shaggy wrote a piece about this at bettingnews.com for free. Go read his scribbles about what he's looking at on the college game tonight in Las Vegas. Go peep the scribbles and go check that out. I will be tailing Shaggy because I'll be doing that a lot in college football this season. So go get involved over there for some free stuff. Boys, let's go. Thanks for tapping in, chat. Thank you for being here as always, right here on the Betting News Network. Brought to you by our sponsors at Bet Online. Go get involved. Go bet some of the stuff we talked about today. Right at Bet Online, get a $1,000 deposit bonus with the $10 sign-in code as well for $10 dropped into your account. We will see you guys tomorrow for Betspresso on Labor Day, for Labor Day edition. Have a kick-ass Labor Day. Enjoy the long weekend, and then we'll see you guys. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Ready to rock and roll, boys. Say goodbye to the beautiful people.
Bye-bye.
You guys came for the winners and you stayed for the vibes. Catch you tomorrow. Peace.
What you know about rolling down in the down in the now I know y'all be loving this shit right here. About rolling. What you gonna do? Rolling. What you gonna do? Down in the rolling. What you gonna do? Right, y'all be loving this shit. What you know about